Hey everyone, thanks for tuning again for the second instalment of our Introduction to Exercise. So in the second part of this series, we talk about a group of exercises called the tune-up. So in your books, you'll see a headline for tune-up exercises, and this is essentially what we're talking about. Now at the moment, everyone's exercise sheet is blank. So the idea of a tune-up exercise, like the name sort of alludes to, with a guitar, the strings of the guitar need to be tuned sometimes. Much like our bodies, we tend to, might be lacking some strength in some areas. We might need to work on a specific part of the body. So this is the section of our exercise component that's dedicated to tweaking our bodies, to fine-tuning our bodies to the areas that we need to be fine-tuning. And because of that, everyone's exercise is going to be different. So I'm going to go through a whole list of different types of exercises today, given that we're doing this via the internet, but your physio will of course speak to you and figure out which exercises relate to you and your body. So most people are going to have something to do with their core, so I'm going to go through a couple of generic exercises that most people are going to benefit from. So the first exercise is a core exercise, core activation. So as a physio, we teach core exercises a lot. And a lot of people think that core is a six-pack muscles, and that's actually not the case. The six-pack muscles aren't the muscles that we want to turn on, actually quite the opposite. So when we're doing these exercises, the idea is to relax through your stomach. We don't want you to hold your breath. That's very, very important. And so with this exercise, what we're trying to do is actually to turn on your core muscles. So they're the muscles underneath your six-pack muscles. They're quite low. They can blend into muscles in your pelvic floor, so the muscles which help you go to the toilet. What we want to do is be relaxed in our chairs, relaxed breathing, and the idea is to try and lift up the muscle underneath our fingers, low in our tummy muscles, essentially. And the idea is to bring those muscles and turn them on for about 5 seconds. Now this is incredibly hard. This is hard to do in person, so I don't expect people to get this right away. We're going to be obviously chatting to you one-on-one if you can't quite get these exercises, and particularly if you've got low back pain. But do try to give these a go at trying to lift your pelvic floor, the lower muscles, up from the chair. And the idea is to relax through your tummy. We don't want you to tense up like you're going to do a six-pack sit up. And we don't want you to hold your breath, so be breathing the whole time. When you hopefully can turn these muscles on for about 5 seconds, the aim is to only hold them for about 30% of what your max muscle would be. So the idea is that you can turn them on just slightly, just gently, because they're a muscle that's supposed to be on the whole day. And if that's the case, they can't be working 100% right away for 5 minutes, for example. So the idea is you turn the muscles on for 5 seconds, relax for 5 seconds, and do these a couple of times. Maybe sets of 10, for example. Sitting is quite easy to do, but I think the easiest position is lying on your back, which I'm going to demonstrate in a moment. The next exercise that we will go through is some diaphragm breathing. So for those that are aware, your diaphragm is a muscle that sits in your chest, and it helps essentially inflate your lungs. So it's very important for breathing. What we want with diaphragm breathing is not to tense up through your tummy muscles. So we don't want you to tense up and see your tummy moving. We want a gentle breathing in with your ribs, and then a very gentle relaxing with your ribs. And so we want people to be sitting nice and relaxed in your chair. Deep breath in, a slight little hold, and breathing out. Now, it does look quite amusing when you're doing these things through a webcam, but the idea is that you're relaxing through your breath. You're not tensing up, you're not trying to force the breath too much, and you're doing a couple of repetitions of these. So if you could do maybe 5, 10 repetitions of what we call diaphragm breathing. The idea again is to relax through your tummy when you're doing those. The next sort of exercises can be sort of done standing up, I suppose. So we've got a whole different array, as I said, but I'll go through a couple of the basic ones with the bands. So we've got some beautiful bands up here. So the idea is to do a row. So stabilise the bands to something like a door frame. Similar things at home, I'm sure you can figure it out. And bring the bands towards your body. The The key things with this is that we're not tensing up through our neck and our shoulders, we're not holding our breath, and we try, where possible, to be a bit taller up. You don't want to be slouched, but you don't want to be too straight when you do these ones. The next one's a low row. So straight arms this time. So it looks a little bit similar, but the arms are straight with that one compared to the first one, which is bent. The next exercise is a bit of a weird one, but you keep your elbows in like so, and you go outwards on the band. So elbows in, hands going outwards like so, not trying to tense up with any part of your neck or your shoulders, trying to relax through the front of your neck, which is quite important if you've got any shoulder pathologies, like so. The next lot of exercises we can do on a mat. So I've got a beautiful mat. You can get them pretty cheap from most places. If you like, you can use a towel if the floor is comfortable. These exercises are designed to work on your core muscles, and lying down for a lot of people is a bit easier to relax. If people have issues getting on and off the ground, you can use a chair to push yourself up as well, or you can just do them on your bed that you would normally sleep in. So I'll demonstrate a couple of simple ones. Working on your core, working on your sort of shoulder control. So the first exercise is a bridge. So lifting your bottom up like so. Next exercise, the legs slide out. You can also do this with your arms up. At the same time. Onto your side. A couple of exercises you can do where you're lifting your leg up. Onto your 4-point kneeling, what we're looking for is a bit of tilting. So bending your hips like this. It's quite tricky to do, but with the physio's help, I'm sure you'll be right. Lifting an arm up. Lifting a leg out. What you'll notice is my body tries to hopefully stay quite straight. We don't want to arch our back in this one or move around too much. And the last one is doing them both at the same time, which is quite tricky. So there you have it, guys. Plenty of different type of exercises to go through. Everyone's going to have different types depending on their condition. The main points that are across most of the exercises, we want to relax through our tummy. We don't want to tense up when we do these. We want to breathe. The repetitions, how many we do, is going to change, but hopefully if you can write them down, you'll know how many to do. And the idea is you're doing these at least twice a day, every day, and then incrementally you'll be getting better with how many you can do, and obviously tracking up the ladder, I suppose, of what difficulty you can do. For those neck and shoulder conditions, relaxing through your middle sort of neck muscles is quite important. Not being too tight. For the low back muscles, not tensing up, breathing, and trying to relax is really important across the board. So your physio is going to obviously go into these in more detail. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to shout out. particularly with the core and the breathing. They're two really key components that you will benefit from doing. So do shout out if you're having issues with them.